What is up everyone, my name is Stoody and I'd like to welcome you all back to another video. Now I do apologise again for the late upload for this week's tips, just simply have not had the time. Recording this on Wednesday morning, hopefully it'll be out Wednesday afternoon for you guys. Now these are my round 22 tips for the 2022 AFL season. Now it looks like this is a pretty straightforward round for tipping, but before we get onto that, let's have a look and see how I went last week. So last week I got 7 out of 9 correct tips, which is pretty good because last week wasn't a very straightforward week. I took a few risks, some of them paid off, some of them didn't, and now moves me to 123 correct tips for the season. So not too bad, not too bad. So let's just go through the ones I got right and wrong. So started off on Friday night, I tipped Melbourne to defeat Collingwood. Collingwood won that again somehow. They're starting to really piss me off. So I got that one wrong. I predicted the Gold Coast Suns to defeat Hawthorn. Hawthorn ended up winning that, and the Suns season is now over. So I got that one wrong as well. So first two tips of the week wrong. So I was not happy. I was like, it's going to be a very bad week for tipping. But everything was perfect after that. I predicted the GWS Giants to defeat Essendon. So I got that one right. I predicted Fremantle to defeat the Western Bulldogs, and to be honest, that was a really fluky one. I just really wanted the Western Bulldogs to lose that game because it was good for Richmond, and they did. So I got that tip correct. I predicted Geelong to defeat St Kilda, and they won that easily, so I got that one correct. I predicted Richmond to defeat Port Adelaide. I didn't understand why so many people were tipping Port Adelaide. I knew Richmond would win that, so I got that one correct. I predicted Sydney to defeat North Melbourne. That one was pretty straightforward, so that was obviously going to be correct. I predicted Brisbane to defeat Carlton. Brisbane won that pretty easily, so I got that one correct. And I also predicted Adelaide to defeat the West Coast Eagles. A lot of people tipped West Coast because I guess Josh Kennedy's last game. Josh Kennedy, he kicked 8 goals, but still West Coast lose. So I get that tip correct as well. Moving on to this week's tips. On Friday night, we have St Kilda taking on the Brisbane Lions at Marvel Stadium. Now I'm going to be tipping Brisbane in this one by 15 points. Obviously, St Kilda will be reasonably competitive. Their season's on the line, so they'll be trying to win it. But I just think Brisbane will be too strong in the end and will get the win against the Saints. Moving on to Saturday, we have the Western Bulldogs taking on the GWS Giants at Marvel Stadium. Now the Western Bulldogs need to win this if they want to keep their season alive. They have to win their last 2 games to get in. But they need results to go their own way. They need Richmond to lose both their games or Carlton to lose both their last games. It's a lot more likely with Carlton because Carlton have a way more difficult fixture than them. Carlton have Melbourne and Collingwood, where Richmond have Hawthorn and Essendon. So they should be able to jump Carlton on percentage if they are to make the 8. But for Richmond, they'll be able to jump them on points. A lot has to go right for the Dogs, but I do think the Dogs will win this against the GWS Giants by 38 points. I just think they'll be too strong for the Giants and will be desperate to keep their season alive. Up next, we've got the Adelaide Crows taking on North Melbourne at Adelaide Oval. I think this one's pretty much another straightforward one. I'll be predicting Adelaide in this one to win by 42 points. Really, it's at home. They should just be too strong for a struggling North Melbourne. Moving on to Saturday twilight, we have the Gold Coast Suns taking on Geelong at Metricon Stadium. Now the Suns, their season ended last week when they lost to the Hawks, and Geelong, they just aren't losing at the moment. They will choke in finals, but they're just not losing, so they'll beat the Gold Coast Suns in this one. I'm going to say Geelong will win this one by 32 points. They should win it quite comfortably. Saturday night, we have Melbourne taking on Carlton at the MCG. Now, this is a very interesting one. Carlton will be desperate to at least get one more win. I think they only need one more win to make the 8. So they're going to be desperate, but I still think Melbourne are just the better team. Carlton not in very good form at all. I'm going to tip Melbourne to win this game by 17 points. I think it'll be a reasonably good game, but Melbourne too strong, and Melbourne will be trying to make sure they stay in the top 4 as well. So, Melbourne for mine. The other Saturday night game is the Western Derby. We have Fremantle taking on the West Coast Eagles at Optus Stadium. Now, obviously, one team is trying to make the top 4. The other is trying to avoid the wooden spoon. I think we all know who I'm going to tip here. Fremantle, obviously. I think Fremantle will win this one by 57 points. They should win it pretty comfortably at home, and they'll be hoping to get themselves in the top 4 before the end of the season to get themselves a double chance. Moving on to Sunday, we have Richmond taking on Hawthorn at the MCG. I'm going to be tipping Richmond in this one by 35 points. I just think Richmond will be way too strong for the Hawks. They're just simply the better team. I know the Hawks are in some decent form, but they have been versing a lot of bad teams. Now they've met a team that is at least half decent. So I think Richmond will get the job done here, and Richmond will be desperate to make sure they stay in the 8. So that's why I'm tipping Richmond. Up next, we have the Sydney Swans taking on Collingwood at the SCG. Now, Collingwood actually have a really good record against Sydney at the SCG, but on this occasion, their little win streak will finally come to an end, as I'm going to be tipping Sydney to win this one by 27 points. I just think Sydney definitely are the better team and really should be able to take care of Collingwood on their home deck. So the Swans for mine. Last game of the round, we have Essendon taking on Port Adelaide at Marvel Stadium. Now, this is the only real one I had a problem with. You know, the last few weeks there's been 4 or 5 I've kind of had to think about. But this is the only real one I really had to think about. In the end, I just went Essendon because it's at their home ground. So Marvel Stadium, and I think Essendon are in the better form as well. So I'm going to be tipping Essendon to win this by 19 points. I think better form, home ground advantage will really help them. So I'm going Essendon. So that's it for this video. I think this season there's a lot of teams that are overachieving / underachieving. I think a team's percentage is a big indicator of how good they really are. And obviously Collingwood having such a low percentage kind of proves they're not actually that good. Plus Carlton having kind of a lowish percentage. I'm not surprised that Carlton are in danger of missing out on the 8. And I think they will, to be honest. I think Carlton are going to finish 9th. I think the Western Bulldogs will finish 8th. And Richmond 7th. That's how I think the ladder will end up. And I think Collingwood definitely getting knocked out in straight sets. Like, I have them beating Carlton, but that won't be enough to have them knocked out of the top 4, them just losing to Sydney. So I think they'll finish about 4th and then get knocked out in straight sets pretty easily. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe for more epic content like this. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and leave a like on this video. Also be sure to follow me on Instagram. It is called StoodyYT. Link to that will be in the description. I hope you've had a good day, and I'll see you all in the next video.